This week, the January 6th Select Committee sent an invitation, not a subpoena, just an invitation, to Ivanka Trump, the president's daughter, former advisor, I guess you would call her, to come and sit down with the committee and tell them exactly, in her own words, what happened in the White House on the day of the Capitol riot. And part of the reason they want to hear from Ivanka is because we do know from text messages that have been revealed that Ivanka Trump was one of the few people actually telling her father, you've got to make this stop. This is bad. Go out there and do something. And of course, her father completely ignored her advice. For the first time, her good advice. And so the committee wants to know, what exactly was he doing? Why did he ignore you? What did he think was a better option than going out and telling the people to stop the violence? And I think those are questions that the American public is entitled to hear. Because after all, Ivanka Trump, being someone who was in the White House, would in fact have direct knowledge of how Donald was behaving that day, how he was reacting to what he was seeing on the news. Was he gleeful? Was he happy? Was he cheering them on? Or was he sitting there with a stern look on his face trying to figure out how to put an end to all of this madness? But of course, that's not the only thing the committee wants to know. According to Benny Johnson, the chair of the committee, he says, quote, Ms. Trump apparently has direct knowledge of the former president's attempt to persuade Vice President Mike Pence to take action to stop the counting of electoral votes. Does she, though? I mean, let's be honest here. Ivanka Trump was in the White House. She talks to her father. She tried to get him to, call his people off that day, but was she involved in that plot? I mean, look, I despise her as much as I despise the rest of the Trump family, but do you have evidence to suggest that she was, one of the insiders that knew about the plot to overturn the election? We know Junior has been very involved in these kinds of things. We know Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham and Jim Jordan and Lindsey Graham and all of these other idiots in Congress, but was Ivanka a part of those conversations? Now, see, I would cast doubt on that. I don't think they would actually trust her enough with it. And I'm not saying that she didn't want to be involved. I'm just saying, given the people that were already working on this, I don't think any of them would have felt the need to include Ivanka in it. So if that's the route you're going, I don't know that you're going to get the information that you want. Maybe she was. Maybe I'm totally wrong about that. But this kind of seems like a big sneaky deal, and Ivanka doesn't seem like the kind of person concerned about things like that. After all, the day after the Capitol riot, her and Jared Kushner hosted a dinner party where nobody even mentioned what happened the day before. That's what Ivanka is. She's a socialite. Jared Kushner is too, by the way. They want to mingle. They want to have the friends. They want to have the money. They want to have the parties. They want to be the great Gatsby. That's what they want out of life. They don't care about these attempts to overthrow the election. That probably didn't concern them at all. And that's why I don't know that she would have any real insider knowledge to give the committee about what may or may not have been happening behind the scenes. But if you're trying to get a clearer picture of how Trump was behaving that day while watching it on TV, Ivanka is the person to go to. So I do support that. And look, I support you asking her about the plot to overthrow the election. Go for it. Why not? I just don't think you're going to get any information from her on that, because I truly believe they didn't trust her enough to let her know what they were plotting.